There's a road, hidden deep within a forgotten forest. A road that doesn't show up on most maps. The elders whisper about it. They call it Midnight Road. It only reveals itself on certain nights. When the fog consumes the trees and the silence feels heavier than air itself, it's on those nights that she appears. She doesn't scream, she doesn't chase. She tries to warn, but no one ever listens. One such night, a young nurse named Clara was driving alone. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. Her phone buzzed with desperate messages. Clara, turn back. That road is dangerous. But Clara had her reasons rooted in fear and guilt. When her headlights tore through the fog, she saw her, a woman, soaked, pale as the moon, standing still in the middle of the road. Clara screamed, swerved, metal against tree, shattered glass, and then silence. When Clara opened her eyes, she was trapped in the wreckage, breathing slow, weak. And there she was again, the woman in white, standing by the twisted door, not as a threat, but as a warning. And then, silence. When Clara opened her eyes, she was trapped in the wreckage, breathing slow, weak. Her hand reached out, but before she could speak, darkness swallowed everything. They say Clara was the last to survive that road, or maybe the first to not die alone. This is her story. This is the legend of the Midnight Road. The following night fell heavy over the town of Red Hollow. A steady drizzle came down, the kind that feels like it's trying to wash old secrets out of the soil. Inside the local hospital, Clara's case became a whisper in the halls. It happened on Midnight Road, some said. She saw her, others murmured. But who was her? Nurse Ruth, old and weathered, leans toward a young doctor and whispers, "She's not the first. 10 years ago, another crash, same road, same look in the victim's eyes, like they saw something that shouldn't exist." Meanwhile, Noah, Clara's older brother, arrives in town. His eyes are hollow, worn from sleepless nights. He doesn't believe in ghosts. Not yet. At the morgue, he asks to see Clara's body, but something holds him back. It isn't fear, it's the feeling that she's still trying to talk to him. Back at his car, he notices something strange. A small black flash drive, unmarked, sitting on the passenger seat. He plugs it into his laptop. One file, a dash cam recording. It shows Clara's drive that night. At first, the road looks normal until it doesn't. A thick fog creeps in, and then she appears. The woman, first in the distance, then closer, then beside the car. Noah pauses the video, zooms in. Her eyes, they're aware, sad. Not a monster, but someone trying to scream in silence. He plays the video again. Static overtakes the audio. The screen flickers. For a split second, she looks directly into the camera. Her lips move. The sound is distorted, broken. But Noah reads the words, "Turn back before it's too late." The screen goes black, but in the reflection of the monitor, he sees something. Her face, standing behind him. He spins around. Nothing. But something inside him has changed. The road is calling. And now, he has to find out why. For hours, Noah dug through news clippings, forgotten forums, and dusty case files. And among torn pages and videos with zero views, one name kept coming up: Helena Vargas. A woman who, over 20 years ago, warned about the dangers of the forest road in Hollow Creek. A woman not forgotten, but erased. Following an address scribbled on the back of an old police report, Noah finds the house, a cabin wrapped in moss and silence, right at the edge of the world. Sound of soft knocking. Nothing. A firmer knock. A latch turns. The door creaks open slowly. A pair of grey, time-worn eyes peer through. Helena, voice weak but steady. I said no one should ever come here again, but you have his eyes. Noah, confused. I'm sorry, I found your name in some old reports. I need to know what's happening on that road. Helena hesitates. She studies him for a long moment, then opens the door fully. Inside, piles of newspapers, maps dotted with pins, clippings with dates circled in red. At the center of the wall, a faded photo of a young woman. The ghost. Narration. Noah feels the hairs on his arms rise. Helena points at the photo. It's not just a memory, it's a warning. Helena. I knew her. Her name was Isadora. She wasn't a spirit. She was a girl like any other, until everything changed. She walks to a bookshelf and pulls out a VHS tape. On the label, 9/08/1999, last appearance. Helena, to Noah. You're stirring forces that want to stay forgotten. But if you've chosen to go in, then I'll show you the way. The camera closes in on Noah's face, now serious, resolute. Through the window behind him, the forest light flickers for just a second. Some truths don't fade, they wait for someone brave enough to look again. Helena slides the tape into an old VCR. The TV flickers, static. Slowly, a black and white recording fades in. On the VHS, Isadora appears young, sitting on a stone bench by the roadside. She speaks to someone behind the camera. Isadora, on tape. I know what I saw. It wasn't the curve that killed him. Isadora, on tape. Someone made him veer off the road, and now it wants me here. Suddenly the footage shakes. It cuts to disjointed frames, warped trees, symbols carved into bark, eyes, dozens of them, watching from the dark. Back in the house, Noah steps away, unsettled. Noah. This is real? Who recorded this? Helena. Her brother. No one ever saw him again. Helena fast forwards, pauses on a haunting frame. Isadora standing alone at the edge of Midnight Road. In the distance, a tall, distorted figure, stretched unnaturally, as if time warped around it. Helena, whispering. There are things in that forest that feed on pain, on memory. Isadora didn't die that night. She was divided. Noah, confused. Divided. Helena. Part of her stayed behind, trapped, and the road. The road is opening again. A loud thunderclap. The TV shuts off by itself. The lights flicker. For a heartbeat, a reflection appears in the window. Isadora, staring in from the outside. Helena, terrified. She doesn't want me to tell you more, but now, you've seen her. Narration. The past is waking up, and Noah is closer to the road than he realizes. Before Clara, before the tape, before the silence, there was a night in 1999, and a girl who tried to warn them. Grainy footage, shaky handheld camera. We're seeing through the lens of an old camcorder. Isadora, 19, laughs nervously, glancing behind her. Isadora, recording herself. If someone finds this tape, it means I'm either alive or did something really stupid again. She turns to a boy holding the camera, her brother Daniel. Daniel, nervous laugh. You're not gonna find anything, Isa. We'll film a few trees and head home. What if that place is just a myth? Isadora. What if it's not? Cut to driving. Fog thickens around the car, headlights barely cut through. A rusty sign flashes by. Hollow Creek, 3 kilometers. Daniel, filming from the passenger seat. 1:32 a.m. We're close. Isa's nervous. I'm more, but she says she needs to see it for herself. Abrupt cut. Camera shakes. Sudden break. They step out of the car. In the middle of the road, strange symbols made of rocks and sticks. A sound, like a muffled whisper, moves through the trees. Isadora whispers. Did you hear that? Daniel. There's no one here. But the camera catches it. Behind them, brief, almost imperceptible, a pale figure, still, watching. Isadora steps toward the symbol. She touches it with her fingers. Then, a scream. The camera falls. We see the ground upside down, feet running, Daniel shouting, Daniel screaming, "Isa!" Dragging sounds, branches cracking, image glitches, static, silence, narration. Daniel never returned. The tape was found weeks later by a forest ranger next to the car, locked from the inside. Cut to Noah watching the footage, his face tense, hands shaking. Behind him, Helena watches in silence. Helena. She was the first, but she won't be the last. Noah couldn't sleep that night. The static from the VHS still echoed in his ears, like an aftershock from another world. He kept replaying her face, not the woman in white, but Clara's, right before she vanished from the crash site. He didn't tell Helena, but he was starting to believe Clara was trying to speak to him. Not through dreams, not through memories, but through the house. That night the cabin felt colder, the walls seemed to breathe, and the air smelled like pine needles and rust. Noah sat on the floor, reviewing Helena's old newspaper clippings. One headline caught his attention. "Local girl missing after car crash on Hollow Creek Road, 1999. Isadora." The article included a photo, blurry but unmistakable, the same pale face he'd seen in the video. She wasn't just a legend, she had been real. Then came the sound, a faint scratching from inside the wall. Noah stood slowly, pressed his ear against the panel. The scratching grew louder, faster. He backed away, heart pounding. From under the wooden baseboard, dust began to spill out. Then a small slip of paper slid through. Noah picked it up with shaking fingers, a faded message in handwritten ink. She never wanted revenge, just to be heard. He stared at it, breathless. Then a whisper behind him, "Help her." He turned, nothing, but he no longer felt alone. At dawn, Helena stood on the porch with a mug of coffee, eyes locked on the fog beyond the trees. She said nothing at first, just sipped, waited. Then, as if breaking a personal silence, she said that she once tried to warn others, tried to share what she knew, but no one listened. Helena had once been a reporter, back when Isadora disappeared. She had followed the trail deeper than anyone, too deep. She spoke of symbols carved into trees, of recurring accidents, all without explanation, of survivors who went silent or missing. She told Noah that Midnight Road wasn't just a place. It was a memory, echoing through the forest. A loop. People didn't get lost there. They got stuck, trapped in moments of fear and guilt. Moments that kept repeating until someone dared to truly see them. And then she said something that chilled Noah. There were others who tried to listen, but the road punishes them. Helena pointed to a drawer. Inside were old voice recorders. Each one held fragments, messages, final words, moments before silence. Noah played one, a man's voice, trembling. "She's standing in the road. She's not moving. I think she's crying." Then static. Then the sound of glass shattering. Helena turned away. "She doesn't cry for herself," she said softly. "She cries for them." Noah knew what he had to do. He packed his camera, flashlight, a recorder, and Clara's old necklace. He wasn't chasing answers anymore. He was returning something. He drove alone, down roads less traveled, until the trees thickened. The sky grayed. The GPS flickered, then died. That's when the fog returned, thick, weighty, alive. Midnight Road appeared, not as pavement, but as a path carved through shadow. He stopped the car, stepped out. The silence was suffocating, only his footsteps, only his breath. Then, in the distance, the faint outline of a figure. White, still. Noah approached slowly. It was her, Isadora, standing where Clara had seen her, where so many had seen her, but she looked different now, not frightening, but tired, like someone who had waited too long to be understood. Noah whispered, "You don't have to stay here." She didn't speak, but something shifted in the air. And then she raised her hand and pointed, not at him, but at the trees, at a path, a different one. The forest loomed like a cathedral of shadows. Noah walked through the thick underbrush, flashlight trembling in his grip. Branches clawed at his coat, and every crunch beneath his boots echoed like something alive. The night was colder here, colder than it should be. The kind of cold that didn't touch skin but bone. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. No insects, no wind, only the sound of his breath, and something else, a faint hum, almost musical, almost familiar. Noah followed it. The path wasn't clear, but it wasn't random either. It felt like someone was guiding him. He passed a decaying wooden sign, half buried in moss. Only one word still visible, "Cuidado." Then he saw it, the car, half consumed by the forest, vines wrapped around the frame like fingers refusing to let go, its color nearly gone, but the license plate confirmed what his heart already knew. It was Clara's. He stepped closer. The glass was broken, the metal bent in unnatural angles, and inside, Noah's breath caught in his throat. Clara sat in the driver's seat, not a ghost, not a vision, but something in between. Her head tilted slightly, her eyes open, but distant, frozen in time. Yet her lips moved, not a word, just the shape of one. "Run!" Noah staggered back, but something kept him there, rooted. He blinked, and she was gone. The car was empty now, dust-covered, dead. But the hum, it was louder. From behind the trees, something moved. Branches snapped, not like footsteps, but like the forest itself shifting, turning its gaze toward him. He turned, ready to run, but stopped. Because there, carved into the bark of a massive tree, were dozens of names, dates, initials, and a message scratched violently over them all. They never listened. Noah stepped back slowly. The humming turned into whispers, familiar voices. Clara, his father, even Helena, all saying the same thing. She's not done. Back at Helena's cabin, silence wrapped around the walls, like insulation from the world. A storm gathered outside, lightning flashing but never striking, the kind of storm that warned, not punished. Helena sat in her old armchair, eyes closed, holding the VHS tape like it weighed more than it should. Noah stood across from her, soaked in mud and questions. The tape clicked into the old player, static, then a recording. Helena's younger face appeared, 25 years ago, seated in a different room, holding a journal. The narration said, "Helena tried to forget, but the truth always blooms again, especially in silence." On the tape, Helena's voice fragile. She was never supposed to be there. Isadora wasn't from Red Hollow. The road, it saw that. The image on the screen flickered, then showed footage from the forest, blurry, shaky, but unmistakable. Isadora. She was crying, screaming without sound, her hands reaching toward the lens, something unseen pulling her back. Behind her, figures in the trees, not people, not animals, just shapes. Darkness swallowed the tape. Back in the room, Helena's hands trembled. Noah looked at her, and for the first time, she didn't hide her fear. The narrator spoke softly. She had carried the truth for decades, but truths like these don't want to stay hidden forever. Helena reached into a drawer, pulled out a small cloth-wrapped bundle. Inside, a key, rusty, ancient, and marked with a symbol Noah had seen once before on the tree in the woods. "This," Helena finally said through the narration, "doesn't open a door, it locks a memory." She handed it to Noah. He didn't understand it yet, but he would, because the road was almost ready to remember. The morning came, but brought no light. Clouds hung low, thick and unmoving, casting everything in a heavy grey. Noah and Helena stood at the edge of the clearing, where the road thinned into an overgrown path no longer visible on any map. In the distance, a house, not a ruin, not abandoned, but untouched by time, its white paint unnaturally pristine. Curtains gently swaying behind windows that seemed to watch. The narrator's voice echoed with unease. Some places aren't forgotten, they're avoided. Noah hesitated. Every instinct told him to turn back. But Helena's eyes, sharp, resigned, gave him strength. She had been here before, and now they were both being called back. The door wasn't locked. It opened with a creak that sounded more like breath than wood. Inside, dust floated in stagnant air. The furniture was clean. Dishes still set at the table. A clock ticked softly, then stopped. Noah stepped across the threshold. The narrator described it as stepping into memory itself, where time bent inward, looping around them like a noose. Photos lined the walls, black and white. Some of people Noah didn't recognize, others too familiar. Helena stopped at one, her own face younger, standing beside a girl, Isadora, not smiling, just staring into the camera with a look that screamed without a sound. Helena had lied, but not out of malice, out of fear, out of guilt. They moved through the house, into a hallway, into a basement. The air turned heavier with every step. In the center of the room, a circle had been drawn on the floor. Symbols, candles, burnt offerings that had long since turned to ash. Helena knelt beside it. This was the last place she was seen, the narrator explained. Not by the world, but by the road itself. A low vibration hummed beneath their feet, like the house remembering something it tried to forget. Then the lights flickered, though no power ran through the house. From the stairs above came footsteps, but they were the only ones there. Helena stood, her voice calm but distant, as the narrator translated, "She's still here, not alive, not dead, but still." The symbols began to glow faintly. Noah reached toward them, but Helena stopped him. "Not yet," she said through the narrator, and the house listened. The rain had stopped, but the air felt heavier, like the storm had passed only to make room for something worse. Noah stood beside the car, his breath shallow. His fingers trembled as he unlocked the glove compartment. Inside, tucked behind old registration papers, was something unexpected, a map. A single red line cut through the trees, a route that shouldn't exist. The name scrawled across the top, Midnight Road, Original Path. Back inside the house, Helena stared out the window. Her voice cracked as she spoke, more to herself than to anyone. She said that Isadora had once told her the road was never meant to be found, that it was a boundary, not a passage, a wall between what was remembered and what should be forgotten. She had ignored the warnings. So had Clara. So had all of them. And now Noah. He asked her if the road could be destroyed. Helena shook her head slowly and said that it wasn't a place built by human hands and couldn't be unmade by them either. It moved when it needed to. It appeared only when the silence was deep enough to hear what came before it. He took the map, thanked her, and stepped outside. The night had returned. The fog was already gathering at the tree line. The forest seemed to lean forward, as if listening. Noah got in the car. As the engine started, the radio came to life. Static, then a whisper. It was Clara's voice, soft, hollow, pleading. She said, "This isn't just about me." Then silence. The headlights cut through the mist. The tires turned. Midnight Road was calling, and Noah no longer ran from it. The map led Noah deeper into the forest, past where the official road ended, into a place untouched by time. Branches arched over the path like twisted fingers. The fog grew thick again, clinging to the windshield like a living thing. The radio flickered, then a voice, distorted but unmistakable, said his name. Noah. Not shouted, whispered, as if spoken from the back seat. He glanced in the mirror, nothing, but then, there, in the reflection, a glimpse of movement, long black hair, pale skin. He turned quickly. Empty seat. The road narrowed, then the trees opened, into a clearing. No signs, no lights, just stillness. And in the middle, wrecks, cars, dozens, twisted metal and shattered glass, piled like forgotten memories. Clara's wasn't the first, and wouldn't be the last. He stepped out. Rain fell lightly now, barely touching the ground before evaporating in the thick mist. The silence was absolute, until footsteps, soft, barefoot, approaching. He turned and saw her, Isadora, no longer just a ghostly vision, but clearer, more real. She didn't speak with her mouth, but he felt her voice inside. She showed him the truth. Visions poured into him. A time before the road, before the curse, a village hidden in the forest, a wrong committed, a sacrifice denied, a girl betrayed and left to die, Isadora. And from her pain the road was born. She wasn't haunting the road, she was bound to it, trying not to trap others, but to warn them, to end it. But it needed someone living to carry the message, to break the cycle. Noah's vision snapped back. He was on his knees in the clearing, breathing hard. The wrecks were gone, so was she, but the road was still beneath him, waiting. He got back in the car, eyes fierce now, no longer just a brother seeking truth, but a witness, a bearer of the story no one else would believe. He whispered to himself, "This doesn't end with me." The car moved forward, and the forest swallowed him whole. Some truths are so old, the world forgot how to hear them, but she never stopped trying to speak. Isadora steps forward. The soil cracks beneath her feet. She looks at Noah as if she's known him for a long time. Isadora, trembling voice, "You're the first to truly hear me." Noah, whispering, "What did they do to you?" Isadora kneels slowly over the seal. She touches the spiral. The ground around her begins to vibrate, subtly, as if pulsing with memory. Quick flashback, fragmented visions. Isadora walking, wearing a necklace. A man smiling at her, then screams, running through the forest. Hooded figures, the knife, her voice trying to scream, but no sound. Back to the present. Isadora, they took my voice, but not my scream. Helena, emotional. The ritual. It was meant to silence the truth. Isadora, and as long as the road remains, it drags others into the same fate, lost in between, neither alive nor gone. She looks at Noah, then at Helena. Isadora, but you heard me. And now, maybe I can finally rest. She extends her hand to Noah. He hesitates, then takes it. A wave of white light spreads from the center of the seal. The entire forest seems to inhale deeply. And then the seal crumbles. The stones sink. The wind rises once again, but it's no longer violent. It's a breath of relief. Isadora smiles, her eyes fill with tears. Isadora, whispering, "Thank you." She dissolves into a soft breeze of light and leaves. Noah falls to his knees. Helena embraces him. Narration. And in that moment, the road fell silent. Not the silence of death, but of peace. But somewhere, far from there, a whisper echoes beneath the soil, as if not all were freed. And when the seal broke, it wasn't just the road that fell silent, it was time, it was pain. It was the echo of a voice never heard, until now. Noah rises slowly. The place where Isadora once stood is now just damp earth, no trace of the seal. Helena sits nearby, staring at the horizon like someone who has survived an internal earthquake. Noah, almost whispering, "She's gone." Helena, "No, she sang," and her song was a plea for peace. From the silence, a faint sound begins to rise, a soft melody, distant, like an old lullaby carried on the wind. No lyrics, just living notes. Noah closes his eyes. Narration. They say some souls manifest as song, and the whole world can hear if it's truly quiet. As Noah listens, vague images flash through his mind. Children laughing in a field. Isadora sitting beneath a tree writing. A diary. A promise made, never fulfilled. He opens his eyes, walks to where the melody feels strongest. Something glints between the roots of an ancient tree. He digs with his hands, uncovers a small tin locket. Opening it, he finds a photo of young Isadora beside a man, and folded on the other side, a yellowed note. "Even without a voice, I'll keep singing. If someone hears me, I'll be free." Noah exhales deeply, pockets the locket. Helena places a hand on his shoulder. Helena gravely. "The cycle is broken, but legends never die, they just change form." Narration closing. And now, if someone loses their way on that road, they might find more than fear. They might find a song, the one no one heard until now. Camera slowly pulls away, rising above the treetops to reveal the road below, still, almost gentle. But deep within the shadows of the forest, something watches. The screen slowly fades to black. The soft melody lingers, then disappears into complete silence. Silence is like a forgotten archive. It doesn't just keep secrets, it never lets them go. The camera moves through a dark basement filled with dusty shelves, police-sealed boxes, and old tapes. A shadowed man in a suit walks slowly between the shelves. He wears gloves and holds a VHS tape labeled Isadora Fay, Restricted File, 0909-1999. He inserts the tape into an old VCR. The screen crackles, then stabilizes. We see grainy footage of a younger Isadora, nervous but determined. She looks into the camera. Isadora on tape. If you're seeing this, it means the road is still alive and the ritual failed. She glances behind her as if hearing something. They think she's me, but she was created, shaped by fear, by guilt, by what they did to me that night. The footage breaks into static. The image distorts. For a moment, the road woman's face appears, closer than ever. Her eyes are completely black. Her mouth opens slowly, emitting a scream trapped in eternity, an echo of all who were never heard. The tape ejects by itself. The man retrieves it, places it in a metal case, and locks it with 2 latches. He walks toward a door marked Restricted Files, Class 5. The door opens to a dimly lit room, walls lined with shelves full of files and tapes. The man places the metal case on a table and picks up a folder marked Midnight Road Incident. He flips through photos, wrecks, maps, symbols carved into trees. He stops on a photo of Isadora standing on the road, eyes vacant. A note attached reads, "She is the key, but no one listens." He closes the folder and stares out a small barred window at the fog rolling over the forest. The man turns and locks the door behind him. His footsteps echo as he walks down a long, empty corridor. A faint whisper seems to follow him, like a voice carried on the wind, barely audible but impossible to ignore. He pauses outside a sealed vault. On the door, a symbol matches the one carved into the tree Noah saw. With a steady hand, he swipes a keycard, and the heavy door creaks open. Inside, rows of ancient artifacts, papers, and a dusty journal labeled Isadora's Truth. The man opens the journal carefully. Inside are detailed notes, sketches of symbols and faded photographs. His eyes scan the pages quickly. The last entry reads, "The road is alive. It remembers. It punishes. But it also listens to those who dare to hear." A sudden chill fills the room. The man looks up, sensing he is not alone. From the shadows, a whisper floats. "Are you ready to listen?" The man hesitates, then nods slowly. He closes the journal and slips it into his coat. The whisper grows louder, weaving through the room like a thread of smoke. Some truths can only be faced in darkness. He steps toward the door marked "Restricted Files, Class 5" and turns the handle. Beyond the threshold, silence stretches endlessly. Inside, rows of shelves stretch into shadow, files and tapes, all labeled with dates and cryptic warnings. The man moves quietly, guided by a flickering light. He stops before a dusty box marked "Midnight Road Files." Opening it, he pulls out a faded photograph, a young Isadora, smiling faintly. A sudden cold breeze brushes past him, carrying a voice barely audible. "Listen, before the road forgets again." He shivers, clutching the photo tighter. The man turns, but the hallway behind him is empty. The whisper fades, replaced by silence that feels too heavy. He walks back to the locked door, places the tape and photo inside a metal briefcase, and closes it firmly. As he locks the briefcase, a single word is whispered, barely heard: "Remember." Outside, the wind picks up, swirling leaves in a sudden gust. The road waits, patient and endless. And somewhere, Isadora's story lingers, unfinished.